Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and welcome back to the Popsicle Night channel. This video is sponsored by PTCGO the best place for you to get Pokemon TCG code cards. Are you looking to complete your card collection online for the latest set? PTCGO has everything you need. And please remember to use my code NIGHT22 at checkout so that you can get a 5% discount. Please enjoy the discount and your purchase directly supports the content I create in this channel. Thank you guys so much for your support and for your supporting PTCGO. In today's video, we'll be showcasing Radiant Steelix from the Lost Origin expansion set. Radiant Pokemon rulebox states that you can only have one Radiant Pokemon in a deck. Radiant Steelix is a Metal-type Pokemon with 170 HP, 4 retreat cost, minus 30 resistance to grass, and is weak to fire. It has 2 attacks. The first attack is Energy Stream. For 1 colorless energy, you can attach up to 2 metal energy from the discard pile onto this Pokemon. This can help energize its second attack, but late game, adding energy to Steelix may become necessary for it to retreat. Its second attack is Destructive Finish. For 2 metal and 1 colorless energy, this attack does 60 plus damage. And you have to discard your entire deck. Yes, the entire deck until you have only 1 card remaining. Then this attack does 30 more damage for each energy card you discarded this way. And since I have 15 energies total in this build, minus 3 to energize Radiant Steelix's attack, if 12 energies are discarded, that's an additional 360 damage for a total of 420 total damage, which is insane, and it pretty much knocks out any Pokemon in the game. Since you'll be left with 1 last card to draw on your next turn, you'll be in danger of being decked out. So to avoid this, we can use the new Hisuian Basculegion, more for its attack, Upstream Spirits. For 0 energy, you shuffle all the basic energies from the discard pile back to the deck, and this attack deals 20 damage times the number of energies you shuffled back to the deck. So with 15 energies in this build, this attack can range anywhere from 0 to 300 damage. So this attack will help get energies back to the deck, again preventing decking out, and where possible, you can cycle Radiant Steelix for another strong attack. And I'm using the Hisuian Basculin as its pre-evolution with the Gather the Crew attack. For 0 energy, you can get up to 2 basic Pokemon from your deck and put them straight to your bench. This is a huge help to set up all the Pokemon you need in play. Another way to prevent decking out is with the help of the new Pidgeot V. We're using this mostly for its ability, Vanishing Wings. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you can shuffle it and everything attached to it back to the deck. So technically, you will never deck out as long as you can continue to put Pidgeot V in your bench and use its ability. And since we're using metal energies to make it more difficult for your opponent to knock out our Pokemon, I've included a 2-1-2 line of Hisuian Goodra. It has the ability Metal Lodging. It basically prevents your basic Pokemon with metal energy attached to them from being damaged from attacks of Pokemon V. For consistency, along with Snorlax, I'm using Zacian V with the Intrepid Sword ability. This ability will end your turn, but you can draw 3 cards, and if any of them are metal energies, you can attach them to this Pokemon. I like having Zacian V in the deck because it also benefits from getting protection from Hisuian Goodra. But it also has the powerful attack Brave Blade. For 3 metal energies, this can deal 230 damage. At first, I had Thornton in my preliminary builds with the thought of switching Zacian V with Radiant Steelix for a surprise attack, but I found myself not using it in most of my games, so I just got rid of it. As for the other cards in this deck worth noting, I have 1 copy of Adamant. If you can discard 2 metal energies from your hand, you can search your deck for any 2 cards. This is great for getting your rare candy to fully evolve into Hisuian Goodra. Or you could even get 2 metal saucers to attach the discarded metal energies to your benched metal Pokemon. And I also have Irida. This is great for getting the Basculegion line from the deck, as well as 1 item card. And I have 2 copies of Training Court Stadium to recover some energies when needed, and it's also great to counter Path to the Peak so that you can use Pidgeot V's ability. Scoop Up Net and Switch are also really important so that you can pivot between Hisuian Basculegion and Radiant Steelix late game. And lastly, I have Cape of Toughness and Choice Belt as my HP and attack modifiers. So the main trick to this build is to make sure that you have Pidgeot V in your hand or in the bench, and at least 1 copy of Basculegion line in your bench before using Radiant Steelix's Destructive Finish attack, because the key is to not deck out after using this attack. You also have to make sure to retain as much energy in your deck to get the maximum amount of damage. Overall, this deck sort of works. It is a little clunky right now and could still use some more improvements, but as it is, it works pretty well against multi-prize matchups. But against some single prize builds, this deck does struggle a little bit. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below, and now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Radiant Steelix. Alright, let's get right into our first match, and I like going first with this build because Hisuian Goodra is a stage 2, Requires a few turns and a few elements before you can fully evolve and set it up. We're going to start this one with a Hisuian Basculin in the active spot. We also have Zacian V. Got an energy, we can attach that. But you know what? Let me actually use Quick Ball first because we have Metal Saucer to accelerate that energy to Zacian anyways. That way we can set up our Gumi. And then we're just going to Intrepid Sword for now. And we actually got one more energy to attach to our Zacian V, which is really good. We can attack even on our next turn as long as we get another Metal Energy. But our hand looks really great. We have Irida, we can get Evolution Incense, and we can fully evolve into our Hisuian Gudra as early as turn 2. That's pretty good, guys. Really, really good. So now with that, we will be immune to damage from our opponent's Pokemon V. And that's really important because we're going up against a Mew VMAX build, is what it looks like. They have 3 Genesect Vs in their bench setup already. And they also have Oricorio, which reduces damage done to their Fusion Strike Pokemon by 20 damage. So sizing up this matchup, I think we do have a chance. As long as we have Hisuian Gudra on the bench, their Mew VMAX will not be able to harm our Zacian V or even Radiant Steelix as long as we have Metal Energies attached to them. So the only way they can get through that is if they use Max Miracle, which requires 2 Psychic Energies, or they can boss my Hisuian Gudra. And they also have Cross Switcher, so yeah, they can just target our Hisuian Gudra. So they have a lot of outs to our strategy, but at least that's going to give them a runaround, and it's not going to make it easier for them to knock out our Pokemon. So we'll do our best. We might not be able to win this one, but let's see how well we do. And I'm just going to use Irida, and we need Evolution Incense, and we do have Radiant Steelix, and also a bunch of Hisuian Gudra evolution lines in the deck, so that's really good. And I'll just grab another Hisuian Basculin. The discarded energy from our opponent's stadium actually helped, so we'll just use our stadium to get water energy. We can attach that to our active. We can use Metal Saucer on our Zacian V so we can attack this turn, retreat our Basculin, and then before that, before doing anything else, we have to evolve into our Hisuian Gudra so that our Zacian V will be immune to damage. That's insane. And Zacian V as a standalone actually is really good. I am only getting one prize here. I think I'm just gonna Intrepid Sword, guys. I don't know if this is a good move, but the way my hand looks is really horrible. I think Intrepid Sword is the way to go. We are invincible anyways right now, so we should be okay. So I'm just stalling a little bit. I feel like I need to. Oh, they have a Cross Switcher though. Oh no. They saw through our strategy. They are gonna target our Hisuian Gudra, unfortunately, and that's gonna make our Pokemon a lot more vulnerable. So Zacian V, with no invulnerability or invincibility, they can easily knock it out. But they will need a bunch of power tablets to do that. They don't have Meloetta set up, so I'm not sure if they are using one on this deck. But with the Heavy Ball, we got a Gumi. That's actually really good because we need that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have access to it, right? And I'm gonna start setting up my Radiant Steelix, put an energy, use their stadium. Actually, I think we're doing more harm by using their stadium, but I'm just gonna Brave Blade, get a big chunk of damage to their Mew VMAX, and we might just lose our Zacian V this turn. But what we need is an Evolution Incense. Our Hisuian Gudra is still in the deck. We didn't discard it with their stadium, so I should probably stop using their stadium, but I'm probably just gonna keep using it because if the Hisuian Gudra is discarded and if there's no way for me to recover it, we might be done for. But they're not gonna attack, and we got Marnie from the top deck, and I just can't help but use their stadium, guys. I'm sorry. But at this point, Radiant Steelix will not be dealing enough damage anyways, because we have already a lot of energies in the discard pile. So what I'm looking to do is just build up the energies in the discard pile, get a Hisuian Bascule Legion, and then we can probably knock out one of their Pokemon if we build up enough energies. I can't do anything right now but Intrepid Sword. We did get a Hisuian Bascule Legion from that though, which is really good. So now what I could do is retreat with Zacian V. And that's why I put minimal amount of retreating items like air balloons, because you can actually use the retreat cost to discard energies and power up your Hisuian Bascule Legion's attack. So do keep that in mind with the strategy of this build, guys. Discarding your energies to retreat is a good thing, because you're just going to shuffle all those cards back to the deck anyways. So far we have 1 water energy and 3 metals, so that's 80 damage that we're doing. And all we need is, well, because they knocked out our Zacian V, now we have 3 extra energies on our discard pile. So we can just shuffle all those cards back to the deck with Hisuian Bascule Legion. And then we can even attack with Radiant Steelix on our next turn, or in our following turn. We got Metal Saucer from my opponent's stadium. So at this point, I'm just using my opponent's stadium to discard as many energies as I can. And that should be enough damage to knock out their Mew VMAX. But we will need to get Pidgeot V back into the deck, because that's going to help us not deck out once we use Radiant Steelix's attack. So I'll get Zacian V as well as Pidgeot V. And we have to make sure that's in your hand or in your bench already before you attack with Steelix. Otherwise, you're just going to deck out. I'm just going to use Marnie. Okay, we got a Zacian, which is really good. We got Evolution Incense. If they knock out my Pokemon in the active spot, you know what? That's going to leave us with no energy in the discard pile though. But that's okay. We're just going to use Upstream Spirits, deal 120 damage, knocking out their Mew VMAX. And that's going to get us 3 prizes. Alright, cool. So not too bad. Right now we are sort of even in terms of prize exchange. We got 3 prizes. They already have 3. But they don't have any Mew VMAX set on. They don't have any other Mew VMAX set up. So I'll have to set it up from scratch. And that's why having a bunch of Genesect V is good. But if you have more than what you need, that can actually cripple you a little bit, because it's ideal that you have at least 2 Mew VMAX line in play, because that's what's going to happen, like what you see here. Now they can't attack because they have to set it up from scratch. So they're just going to pass. And now we don't have any energies in the discard pile, so we can't use Hisuian Bascule Legion. I'll just get Pidgeot V with a Quick Ball. And then, dude, we actually discarded a bunch of energies from my opponent's stadium. I could set up my Zacian V and put a Cape of Toughness on it, making it a lot harder for my opponent to knock it out. I'm just gonna Intrepid Sword. That gets us 2 metal energies. I think I'll attach it to Zacian V. That should be fine. And I gotta say, guys, Radiant Steelix mechanic is very difficult to pull off, because you need a lot of energies in the deck for you to deal a large amount of damage. So keeping that balance of having energies in your deck, it's very difficult. So as you can see here, if you have just a few energies on your discard pile already, you know you're not getting that max amount of damage output. So that balance between Hisuian Bascule Legion is very important. Getting those energies back to the deck, and then when you attack with Radiant Steelix, you have to make sure that you have enough energies in the deck to deal a large amount of damage, and it really requires a lot of planning. And you also need to not deck out, so you have to have Hisuian Basque Legion set up on your bench, and also your Pidgeot V, and also recovery items like Ordinary Rod to make sure that you're not crippling yourself, or you're not able to recover to the point where you're just gonna lose. So we can't attack right now. They did attack, but good thing we have Cape of Toughness, so we survived an attack from their Mew VMAX. And like I said, our Radiant Steelix is not going to be dealing enough damage. But at least we have Evolution Incense, so we can evolve into our Hisuian Gudra. Now we're going to be immune to damage. So now they can't knock out our Zacian V or our Steelix. And we can attack... Actually, I can hard retreat with Zacian V. That puts more energies to our discard pile, increasing damage to... Yeah, that will increase the damage done by our Hisuian Basque Legion. So at least we're gonna put a hefty amount of damage to their Mew VMAX, and our only attacker will be our Radiant Steelix. So we're just gonna attack for 100 damage. Okay. That's pretty good. So with all those energies back to the deck, we can attack with Radiant Steelix and hopefully knock out their Mew VMAX. They are going to Marnie though, so that is a little bit troublesome because that puts our Pidgeot V back to the deck, and we could draw into a lot more energies. And sure enough, we have 3 on hand, so I don't know if we're going to be able to knock out their Mew VMAX, because we have one on Hisuian Basque Legion. They're gonna knock it out, so we have 1 in the discard pile. We have 3 on hand, and I don't know how many are in our prize. So, they're gonna use Cross Switcher to our Zacian V. They might be able to get a knockout here, because we don't have a Metal Energy on our Zacian V. Oh no. Yeah, they're just gonna retreat their Mew into their Mew VMAX. Techno Blast, knocking out our Zacian V for 2 prizes, and all they need is 1 more prize. But this is the question, guys. Are we gonna be able to knock out their Mew VMAX? Oh, this is the... oh no, we drew into another energy. Well, we have no other choice, so Destructive Finish. Either we have it or we don't. We did! Yes! Exactly, 220 damage is what we needed. That is insane, bro. Oh boy, that was a pretty close game. Alright, let's move on to our next match. We are going to mulligan this one. Gonna wait for our opponent to set up. Okay, they have 2 basic Pokemons all ready to go. Okay, we're gonna start with Zacian V in the active spot. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't mind that. So we can attach an energy, use Intrepid Sword. Hopefully we can draw into a bunch of energies onto our Zacian V so we can attack. And it's good that we have Adaman on our hand. That way we can get any 2 cards from the deck. Adaman is actually a really powerful card. If you have 2 metal energies on hand, Adaman is a really strong card because you can get any 2 cards from the deck. You can't use supporter card the same turn, but still, that gets you any 2 cards from the deck. So we're going up against Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. So judging from the box, this could be straight up the League Battle deck, which is pretty powerful. I might have to showcase that in the future just so for any new players, they can understand how the whole deck works. So stay tuned for that if that's something that you want to see. I'm gonna try and work on that for Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX and also Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. So there's my opponent's setup. Now it's our turn. We have Manaphy, which I think we might need because their Galarian Articuno does hit the bench, so we have to be careful with that. So I'm just going to use Adaman, discard 2 Metal Energies, and then I can get Gumi and a rare candy. Hopefully they don't have Marnie to use on their next turn. I'm just going to Intrepid Sword. That gets us 1 more energy, which is really great. So my opponent either has it or they don't, right? But hopefully they don't. That way we can evolve into our Hisuian Gudra, and that's gonna make our Zacian invincible against their Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX's attacks. So we're looking good so far. We also have Quick Ball. We can set up another basic Pokemon, probably Radiant Steelix. And then we're gonna go from there. As of right now, my opponent only has 3 energies. So even if they switch out their Galarian Articuno, they're not gonna be able to knock out our Zacian V. So we are in a good spot. We have Hisuian Basculin. We can evolve into our Hisuian Gudra. Use our Training Court Stadium, and then we can set up our Pidgeot V for now. We can set up our Radiant Steelix at some other instance. But for now, we're just going to get a knockout against their Galarian Articuno. That gets us our first prize, and we got Irida, which is excellent. And then, yeah, we're immune to damage. We are we're just sitting pretty here, guys. We are not worried at all. Doesn't matter how much energies they build up on their Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. We are not afraid. So what I'm hoping to do is actually get Radiant Steelix. Hopefully we can get a one-hit knockout against their Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. But let's see how well we set up here for now. But having Hisuian Gudra makes life really comfortable, I gotta say. Because I'm not worried at all. Doesn't matter how much damage they can pull off. So I think I'll get Quick Ball and Hisuian Basculegion. Can get this and then get Snorlax. Get this energy. I think I'm gonna retreat because Intrepid Sword does get me 3 prizes, but I mean I could get a knockout with Basculegion. Put an energy on Snorlax, and I'm just gonna use Upstream Spirits, get another prize off of their Pumpkaboo Metal Saucer. That helps us to energize our Zacian V. So with that 1 metal energy on Zacian V, we are again safe from any of their attacks, even if they manage to boss our Zacian V. Most likely they're just gonna knock out my Hisuian Basculegion. Then we can pivot into Snorlax so we can draw into more cards, because they're only taking 1 prize at a time, and if we can build up enough energies onto a Radiant Steelix once we set it up, I think that would be good. But they are gonna Marnie, so that actually helps us out a little bit. And like I said, Radiant Steelix mechanic is pretty hard because controlling the amount of energies you have in your deck can be very hard sometimes. Because as the match flows, the more energies is going to be drawn out of the deck unless you use Hisuian Bascule Legion, right? Let me see. I think what I'm going to do here, because I want to set up my Steelix already. Let me just put an energy to my Zacian V. Put Hisuian Basculin in on the bench. And I'm just going to Intrepid Sword. I think I'm just going to go for that for now. Because what I can do is use Pidgeot V to use its ability. Go back to the deck. And then I can set up my Steelix. Alright, so they just attack, but they're not going to damage my Zacian V. We get Hisuian Bascule Legion and another Quick Ball. And I think I'm gonna use Vanishing Wings. Go back to the deck, because that Quick Ball is gonna guarantee us Pidgeot V back to our hand, right? Let me get Radiant Steelix. Put this. I can attack with Zacian V. And I have a bunch of Metal Saucers, right? I could get the Water Energy to put onto Radiant Steelix. I'm just going to retreat into my Snorlax. Then I can use both these Metal Saucers to fully energize my Steelix. Get this Water Energy. And I'm just going to Gormandize. Okay, so that helps us to draw into more cards. The Metal Energy on Snorlax actually protects it from getting knocked out as well. So, yeah. Hisuian Goodra, I think if you can harness its power to protect your basic Pokemon, I think it's a really good card. And like I said, Zacian V as a standalone, I think can do really well. Because I was thinking of building a Zacian V Hisuian Goodra deck on its own. But I really wanted to showcase Radiant Steelix. So I think it has a good mixture between Zacian V, Intrepid Sword, as well as Radiant Steelix mechanic. I think they pair really well. So for now, I'm just gonna discard that Metal Energy. We have 7 energies in the deck. I could attack now. That will put a hefty amount of damage against their Shadow Rider, though. That's the thing. Yeah, I think I'll just use Destructive Finish and see how much damage we deal here. 270 damage. Not quite enough, but you know what? That's still a huge amount of damage, guys. Huge amount of damage. So, my opponent has built up a lot of energy to this one Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. All we need to do is knock that guy out, and we should be fine. Because once those energies are in the discard pile, they're not going to be building up their Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX as efficiently, or they're not going to be able to attack for a lot of damage. And they're just going to pass. They're just stalling. But we have Water Energy on hand. And let's borrow 1 energy using our Training Court Stadium. Then we can use Ordinary Rod to recover Bascule Legion line. Get 2 Metal Energies back to the deck. And then I'll have to retreat my Manaphy though. Yeah, I think I'll retreat to Hisuian Bascule Legion and just attack for 0 energy. 120 damage is pretty good. That puts it within knockout range. Because Hisuian Bascule Legion does not hit for a lot of damage, to be honest with you. In comparison to Radiant Steelix, the damage output of Steelix, even though it's the same energy that you put back to the deck and the amount that you discard, Radiant Steelix still puts out more damage than Hisuian Basculegion. And yeah, again, Radiant Steelix, the mechanic of it is a little bit complicated. It is hard to manage a little bit. You do need to kind of think about what cards you want in your hand, because again, you want to retain those recovery items, and without them, you're just gonna be helpless late game. Because if you can't retreat your Hisuian Basculegion, you will have to wait for your opponent to knock it out, and then you'll have to switch out your Radiant Steelix once it attacks, because it doesn't have any more attacks, you know. I mean, you can attack for 60 damage, but that's gonna be it. You're gonna be relying on that for the rest of the game. So they present their Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX with 270 attack damage output on already. And yeah, we're just gonna use Destructive Finish once again. And that's gonna deal 240 damage. Okay, so we did get a knockout. With that, gets us 3 prizes. This matchup is not going as smoothly as I'd hoped, but we are getting the job done at least. We are down to our last prize, so that's really good. But it's a good way to showcase Radiant's Steelix, and that's basically the cycle. So you knock out your opponent, discard all of your entire deck, but make sure you have your Pidgeot V safe and sound in your hand or in your bench, so that you don't deck out, because as you see in our next turn, we're going to draw our last card. So we're just going to use Pidgeot V to shuffle it back to the deck, and then that gets us infinite turns. But your damage output is horrible at that point. And oh, here's another thing. So my opponent Marnie's, right? If you have less than 4 cards, your opponent can deck you out by using Marnie. That's why it's good to always have more than 5, or you need like 5 or more cards in your hand to survive a Marnie. Otherwise, you're gonna deck out. So that's a good demonstration of it, guys. Always have a bunch of cards left in your hand before you attack with Radiant Steelix. So we're gonna use our Training Court Stadium to recover 1 more energy back onto our hand, and then yeah, I'm just gonna energize myself using Radiant Steelix first attack. That way we can hard retreat onto our Zacian V and attack with Zacian V at least. Yeah, so we're at that point where it's a little bit stale, because now we don't have Hisuian Basculegion on our hand, and it's really hard to attack with a lot of damage at this point, other than Zacian V. And if Zacian V gets knocked out, we're pretty much useless at this point. So just keep that in mind. Again, Radiant Steelix, the mechanic of it is a little bit... It's very difficult to work with. I gotta tell you. So you have to really plan it out. Make sure you're getting a worthwhile attack, because even though Radiant Steelix attack is Destructive Finish, you can't really use it as a finishing move, because late game it's not gonna help you deal a lot of damage unless you have a lot of energies still left in your deck. So it's kind of like the name of the attack is a little bit... Well, I guess you can reason out that it's like a YOLO type of attack, you know what I mean? But as it is, they presented their Cresselia in the active. Zacian V can just knock it out, and we're going to win this one. That was a little bit of a slow matchup, but at least we were able to showcase what this deck can do. So, pretty good matchup. Alright, let's move on to our next match. I'm gonna put Manaphy. I mean, either way, I can put Pidgeot V in the active because both of them have 1 retreat cost, which is okay. And it looks like we're going up against an Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. All right. We do have a little bit of an advantage here because we are hitting for weakness. Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX, or even Ice Rider Calyrex V, is weak against metal type Pokemon. Got Cape of Toughness. I can attach that to my Pidgeot. That way it's going to increase survivability. Just going to Marnie. Hopefully this can help us set up more basic Pokemon. And we got a Quick Ball, which is really good. Discard this Metal Energy, and then I can set up my Hisuian Basculin. And then I'm going to retreat, and I'm going to use its Gather the Crew attack. I can get my Gumi, and I'm going to go with Zacian. I'm going to go with Zacian. I'll go with Zacian. Let's go for it. So, Hisuian Basculin is really good for setup, right? Can get you 2 basic Pokemon straight to your bench. Ooh, that path to the peak is actually really dangerous because now, even if we end up setting up Radiant Steelix, we can't use Pidgeot V's ability to go back to the deck, and that could deck us out. And we can't use Intrepid Sword, so I'm just gonna Gather the Crew again, and then I think I'm gonna go with Snorlax because we need to draw into more cards right now. I can't do anything right now until they knock out one of my Pokemon, so I can use my right hand, switch back to my... Oh, you know, we have a switch, so we can switch into Snorlax. That way we can draw into more cards. So that worked out well. Nice. Okay, we can evolve our Gumi. Okay, so this is going a little bit... The setup is a little bit clunky at this point, but at least my opponent hasn't attacked yet, so that's good. And we have 2 Ordinary Rods on hand. That's what I like to see. You do want those recovery cards in your hand as much as possible. And let me boss this guy into the active spot. I'm just gonna Gormandize here, and that draws us into 3 cards. And we have our Hisuian Gudra finally in our hands so that we can evolve. And that's gonna make our Zacian V invincible against their Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX's attacks. And I'm just gonna continue to Gormandize until they knock out one of my Pokemon so that I can use my right hand. That path to the peak is slowing us down a little bit. Otherwise we could have used Intrepid Sword a few times already. And I did have a matchup against Galarian Wheezy, which turns off abilities. That one is a really hard matchup to go against. And against single price builds, this deck does struggle a little bit as well, because we don't really have a lot of options as attacker, because it does champion against V Pokemon because we are immune to attacks. But against single price builds that deals a lot of damage, this build does really bad against single price builds. Alright, so my opponent switches into their Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. They did get a knockout against my Snorlax, but our right hand is no longer on hand because of their Marnie. So I could just put my Basculegion in the active spot, and then I'll just continue to build my Zacian V, I guess. I mean, I could attack with Bascule Legion, but we're only dealing, what, 60 damage? Or no, 40 damage? Yeah. But that's okay. That's alright. We're gonna make do. 40 damage is 40 damage. But they have to worry about our Zacian V, because if they don't have a boss here, which they probably will have because they have the Inteleon Shady Dealings line. But you know what? Either they have it or they don't, right? That's... Oh, there's the boss! Oh, you know what? We're fine. We're fine. I forgot about Hisuian Gudra. Bro, Hisuian Gudra is awesome. Yeah, no. Nope. Brave Blade for a knockout. We are hitting for weakness and we're dealing 460 damage. And that gets us 3 prizes. This is insane, guys. Now they have to worry about their next move, because even if they target my Hisuian Gudra, knock it out with their Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX, our Zacian V can just attack for a knockout. You know what I mean? So that's what makes Hisuian Gudra and Zacian V good as a standalone even. So without the whole Hisuian Bascule Legion, Radiant Steelix, I think Zacian V along with Gudra can just be a standalone and do really well on its own. So they're gonna attack again, but they just can't. So what I'm gonna do is just hard retreat. I have Metal Saucer. I can just scoop up my Hisuian Bascule Legion and just finish this game with Zacian V. I'm sorry guys, I wasn't able to showcase Radiant Steelix in this matchup, but still, that showcased Zacian V with Hisuian Gudra. Before ending this video, I want to thank you all so much for showing so much love for this channel. As always, before you go, make sure you are subscribed if you are not already. Make sure and leave a like. It's a simple way to help increase the algorithm to get this video to more viewers like you. And if you'd like to help support my channel even more, please check out the description of this video. You can donate to me directly through PayPal, and you can also become a member of this channel. For as low as 99 cents a month, you may be able to buy me a coffee if you'd like. And you'll also be able to get an early access to videos I've already uploaded before they are scheduled for release. Or you can also use the new super thanks from YouTube if you'd like to donate even further. You can also check out Redbubble, where you can buy apparel and accessories with awesome designs from me. And of course, for supporting my sponsors and partners, PTCGO and yourplaymat.com. Links are in the description below. But you don't have to do any of those if you don't want to. I'm just really happy that you continue to take the time out of your day to watch my videos. Thank you everyone for watching, happy Pokemon gaming, and stay tuned for more videos. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicle Night channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.